Actually playing very well in the last couple months, and I've been traveling a lot and playing a lot of tournaments, and I'm ready to play in Gibraltar.
I seem to be queuing well. The table's fast and slippery because it's brand new, so I just need to adjust to that.
Kelly Fisher, I've been watching her. She plays very well, and she plays very tough.
Shane's a great player, very steady, very level-headed, great ambassador for the sport, and one of the best players in the world, of course.
It would mean a lot if I can win my 3rd title for the World Pool Masters, and I'm just happy to take the opportunity to be here.
Just 2 statements before we start the next match. We did mention the age difference on more than one occasion, and secondly, one thing I've learnt there, Tom White has got a lot more patience than me. Okay, on with Shane van Boening against Kelly Fisher. The tournament does continue without Earl Strickland.
Yeah, that was fruitful to say the least. Earl being Earl. And on we go. Another intriguing matchup. 5-time US Open 9-ball champion. Arguably the greatest player in the modern era, against a lady who's won everything in the ladies' game, Kelly Quick Fire Fisher. Now, Phil, a lot of people think Shane's going to walk this match, but I'm not so sure.
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure on him for a number of reasons. And if Kelly gets on a roll, she could do something, although the only ball rolling there is the cue ball into the pocket, which is precisely the start she was hoping to avoid.
Yeah, it was a good break off and all. The wing ball went in, and that is just pure bad luck. Not the start she was wanting.
And conversely, what it does is put Van Boening at the table with quality table time and gives him the opportunity to get the cue arm loose. You can practice as much as you like upstairs, but it's what you do down here on the match table, and this kind of opportunity, particularly in the opening rack, is manna from heaven.
Yeah, Shane will come to the table, ball in hand. I thought this is a nice little start for me. Ooh, I didn't see that one coming. He's overthinned it. Now if Kelly can just hold herself together and knock these balls in. I mean, listen, Shane, you know, undoubtedly a fantastic player, but he does have a tendency to miss a few silly balls. We've seen it in the Mosconi Cup, and we've just seen it right there.
I think sometimes in cue sports, commentators call a particular shot careless when it isn't, but I think in that case it was careless.
Wobbled a little bit, didn't hit it pure, but she's not hampered by the 8 ball, so that's big news. I've noticed, not watched much of Kelly, but the few snippets I've seen, she does like to hit the ball hard and, you know, give it a good thump, which doesn't really suit the TV table. This looks pretty good though. There you see it.
How about that? Not just winning the first rack, but it was the way that it was won. Has Kelly Fisher planted a seed of doubt in Shane van Boening's mind? that might germinate into something quite large. Kelly Fisher 1, Shane van Boening 0, and the reason, that very unexpected miss. Versatile cueist, it has to be remembered that she's won the Women's World Snooker Championship on 5 occasions, and she was primarily a snooker player before the calling of pool took her over to the United States to ply her trade there.
Yeah, with the snooker background, it certainly teaches you how to cue a ball. So I don't really expect to see her missing, you know, silly balls, but I mean, I know she's played in a lot of, you know, the big lady events, so, you know, she's not going to be a stranger to this type of arena or crowd. And it was a pretty good break again there. This time, obviously, the cue ball didn't get kicked, so she's got half a chance here. Just got to make sure you pop the one ball and try and avoid the orange 5. Yeah, she couldn't really avoid it, so she just made sure of the pot. Sensible move, and I don't think that's too bad, you know. Yeah, she's landed okay there, but whenever it's close, it's a bit jittery. And this is a good chance, you know, here, Phil. Especially if the pink 4 goes in the side pocket. If not, she'll have wanted to be a little bit straighter. Or could she play the 3 off the edge of the 6 ball to hold position? Might be a little bit adventurous at this stage. Yeah, she sort of lost it a bit there. I think she could have played it off the edge of the 6, stopped the cue ball, and been perfect on the 4. And this looks a nice little safety shot. She'll settle for that. Good shot.
Technically, she's very orthodox. Really good cue action. Better, in fact, than several of the players we've seen today. Behind the shot, nice and sturdy.
I thought you were going to say you then, Phil.
Oh, better than me. They're all better than me.
Extension called.
Yeah, I don't think you can get past the 9 ball off one rail to kick at this. And is the 6 ball slightly in the way? I know it's only the second rack, Phil, but you just feel it's important. Oh, it's a good kick shot. Just leave distance, that's all you can do. And you know, he has left the pot on, but because he kicked it so good, he left the cue ball near the rail. It's a tester, and it's a confidence builder if you knock this in. Look at that, in the heart of the pocket, Phil.
Never in doubt. She's won so much all over the world, but if she were to beat Shane van Boening in the World Pool Masters live on Sky Sports and around the world, I think this would be her most impactful result.
Another good shot, striking down on the cue ball into a blind pocket. I said this, many people said to me, Shane's had a good draw, Shane's had this. No. Kelly Fisher is a proper cueist. She doesn't really miss balls, Phil, and that's a fantastic asset to have. Should see here, just watch how still she stays on this shot. There you go, 2-0.
You've only got to see her personal roll of honour. She's won 70 tournaments on the WPBA Tour in the States. The ladies' US 9-ball champion in 2008, International Tournament of Champions. The Women's World 9-ball championship in 2012.
He's a proper cueist.
China Open the same year.
She doesn't really miss
Amway
balls.
Cup winner. We know how tough it is to win that one. And she was also a bronze medalist in the World Games 9-ball. She really has had a good career, which is obviously ongoing, and she remains very competitive. As for Shane van Boening, well, I think it's not a stretch to say that he is a modern-day giant of this sport. That said, though, 2019 so far has been quite a slow year for him.
No, she's hit 2 breaks, and both breaks have looked pretty good. She was unlucky on one of them.
Back number 3, Kelly Fisher to break.
Shane, with
Leading
all
2
of
racks
the
to nil.
experience, he will be feeling it now. I've noticed she's swapped over to the other side. I'm not so sure why, because the first 2 breaks was pretty good. Yeah, there you see, not good at all. I think she should have stayed over where she was, Phil.
Why change a winning formula?
The good news is
Push out
Shane's got to
hold.
play a push out here, because he's snookered on the yellow 1 ball. And where the 2 ball is, it's not going to be easy to get position on it from this 1 ball. That's why he's not scared of leaving a pot, because how do you get the 2 ball from there? She's going to try and play a kind of cross bank type safety shot. Looks like it. Needs to avoid the double kiss. She has. Oh, it's a wonderful cue ball. What a lovely shot there. I'm sat right behind it. Full ball snooker. Brilliant shot.
She's always been fiercely competitive, and she'll be really enjoying this now. Starting to believe that she could possibly win.
Yeah, she won't be scared of winning. With a resume like you've just said, Phil, she is here to win.
Extension hold.
And as we've said many times before, it's a race to 7. So these racks are important. You can't afford to be trying to chase a big lead. Good effort there from Shane. Tried to kick the 1 ball in. It was a good try.
In the end, not a bad little nudge on the 9 ball. All good cueing for Van Boening.
Yeah, if the cue ball wasn't there, he could have probably had a go at the pot here. and he would have had a good chance of making it, but when you're bridging over a ball, it's not easy.
A line of 5 balls to hide behind there, anywhere in that segment of the table, and more than likely you're going to have cover.
Extension called.
That was so
Foul,
close.
ball in hand.
Vivresco, the referee, hands Shane van Boening the cue ball. Now we know he made a grievous error in the first rack by missing what for him was a very simple ball. Needs to be tighter here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot from Shane there. Even though he had ball in hand, there was a lot of distance to travel to get on the 2. And as you said before, there's a cluster of balls there, so he's still got a little bit of work to do. It's not a road map, as they say. Yeah, I think he's going to play this 3 ball to the top corner pocket, stun off 1 rail for the 4. Got to be a little bit careful here, Phil, because this is purely about speed. It's just give you an indication there, pointing his cue where he wants it, but you can under-hit this, and you can certainly over-hit it, so this is purely about speed. It's got to hold up, it's got to hold up. Has he got there? Yep, he's okay. Could see off his mannerisms.
One more revolution on the wide ball there and you would have been snookered. Stopped in the nick of time.
Yeah, they're always funny little shots then when you've not had much table time, when you're spinning it round off the 2 and you know you've got to land in a gap.
Well, the hook that was laid by Van Boening has proved very fruitful. There he runs out. His first rack is on the board. Nevertheless, Kelly Fisher remains in front. She leads 2-1. Darkness has descended on the Rock of Gibraltar. Here, though, at the Tercentenary Hall, which is part of the Victoria Stadium complex, the pool action continues. 2 more matches to come after this, but right now, all of our attention is focused on this intriguing contest between Shane van Boening and Kelly Fisher. Now, that's more a Van Boening-like break, although the 8 and the 2 have conspired against him.
Yeah, I did think the break might be a big factor in this match because Shane does break really good. But, as I said, You don't know where the ball's going to end up, and
Push
they've
out,
not
Paul.
favoured him this time. You've heard him say push out. But it's where do you push? Because it kind of looks like wherever you push to here, you're leaving a pretty easy safety shot back. Yeah, I think he's going to push over.
No push up.
It's a real art, this, Carl. It's a game within a game.
Yeah, he's going to play a kick shot here. I thought he was going to push into the kick, but he feels like he can get there. He's going to try and kick the edge of the 1 ball, so then the cue ball hits the 8 and snookers behind the blue 2. A bit like that. Good shot. Kind of spotted that last minute. Played it well. Kelly's just got to make sure she gets contact here. If she hits it right, the cue ball might go behind the 5, you know. And then you see, behind the 5. I think she's left it though, nearly. From that good kick shot safety from Shane, he's give himself the opportunity for rack 4 and to tie the match up. No, he's not hit that hard enough, which means he's going to be bumping into the green 6 ball, so he's going to have to judge this. You can see the disgust in his face. He wanted to be a bit further down, but with him getting down so quick, he must fancy this shot. Yeah, he's double kissed it down the table. Well judged.
He's got so much class, and when he gets on top of a match, he can absolutely monopolise table time.
Another pretty good shot there. Give himself plenty of options there. That's why he went that route.
Extension call.
I'm not familiar with the other lady player in the tournament, Phil. Han Yu, have you seen much of a play at all, or?
Well, she's the WPA world #1, so clearly a force to be reckoned with. And Shane van Boening here showing Kelly Fisher every respect, taking his extension there on that final 9 ball to draw level at 2-2. Van Boening, a man who's synonymous with individual success and also synonymous with table time. The US 9-ball Open, which he's won on 5 occasions. When you've got that on your CV, you know you're a very special talent. But he's being fully extended here this evening. By the way, talking about the US Open, well, it's taking on a whole new lease of life this year. For the first time, it will be promoted by Matchroom Multisport. It takes place at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas from the 21st to the 26th of April. So not too long to wait now. 33 tables will be in operation to start things off. It's double elimination, a full field of 256 players, will be there for the last 3 days in the TV arena. Well, it's down to the last 16. Single elimination. It should be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, it was big news for pool players and pool fans around the world when Matchroom Multisport acquired the US Open. Cannot wait for that one.
Actually, Shane van Boening has won multiple US Opens, apart from the 5 9-ball championships he's won. He's won 3 US Open 8-ball
Shane van Boening
and 4
to break.
10-ball.
2 racks.
So he has missed a US Open, basically.
Yeah, going back to his 5 wins at the US Open 9-ball, he actually won 5 in 10 years, which is ridiculous, really. That's a very good break as well. Doesn't seem to be any problems either. It's just a case of getting from the 3 to the 4. And from 2-0 up, Kelly Fisher's not really done much wrong. She's been froze out. Now, is he going to go for the 3-9 carom?
You know, as well as I do, Carl, he's not averse to a quick kill.
No, he's not scared of taking these shots on. And to be honest, he's pretty good at them. I'll give him his due.
Extension call.
He's just looking if he can play it in a certain way where he can get the 3 safe.
It's great to see. He just sees the shot in his mind, visualises, executes, in it goes, and just like that, Shane van Boening leads 3-2. Here we go again. Off the red 3 and making the perfect secondary contact with the 9-ball.
Yeah, it went over the pocket. You know, he had to bear down on that one and get the correct angle. It was a good shot. And it was a shot that's took him to a 3-2 lead.
Well, Earl Strickland was complaining about the temperature in the arena being too cold. In a different sense, Kelly Fisher is being frozen out here. Ever since Van Boening got that fruitful snooker right at the start of the 3rd rack, basically it's been all him and not a lot of Fisher. And this is what can happen, Carl, especially when you've got the winner breaks format. If a player puts together a few break-in run-outs, the other player can be sitting in their chair for quite some time.
Yeah, and Shane's
Rack
one of
number
the
6,
very few players
Shane
in the
van
event
Boening to
who
break,
could run a match
leading
out.
3 racks to 2.
He's very good at controlling the cue ball on the break, and he does get them balls moving. So, you know, he doesn't often dry break, and he's well capable of running matches out. There you see, look, and the 9-ball's gone in. Wow. Wowzers.
A golden break from a golden player. He did that when he won this title in the past. Golden breaks in the final on that occasion. Here it's in the 1st round, and here it's given Shane van Boening a 4-2 lead.
You know, Phil, Shane, he gets...
Okay, so more pool coming up after the break. A platinum pool player by the name of Shane van Boening has just had a golden break. Reminiscent of the final of this tournament in 2015 in Manchester, England, when he defeated Darren Appleton, aided by multiple golden breaks in the title match.
Rack number 7. Shane van Boening.
Yeah, I was just saying just before
leading 4
the
racks to
break,
2.
Shane's one of them players who he does seem to put the 9 more than any other player I've seen. What was interesting is the 9 flew straight in. He didn't get kicked. Wowzers, another good break. Nearly wetting off in the side.
Well, certain players today, Carl, have had trouble. They've been mystified by the break-off. Shane van Boening, who was watching the entire afternoon session from the front row, seems to have worked it out a treat.
Yeah, there's something about Shane's break. When he hits them, the balls just seem to bang, go everywhere, where other players, it's as if they don't split the same, you know what I mean? He's got that timing of the break sort of better than anyone else. And he's kicking at this one again. Yeah, I could see what he was trying to do there. It was a very good shot. He's left a little edge, but this will be a thin one.
Over the course of a lengthy match or a tournament or a season, when you can break off like Van Boening, it gives you such a massive edge.
And speaking of edges, Kelly's got to find the edge of this one. Yeah, and you can do that. You can either miss it or hit it thick. She's left it.
The first thing Van Boening did when he came to the table was look to see whether the 7-9 combination is on. From the overhead view, you would think it might well be.
Yeah, it's definitely close.
Extension called.
If it is Phil, he'll have won 3 racks in no amount of shots, because he's had a 3-9 combo, a 9 on the break, and possibly another combo here. There you see it. That can definitely be made. It's kind of offset, so any amateurs watching, you have to hit the opposite side of the ball when it's touching.
A fact he knows only too well. There it goes, the king of the combos. He won the 5th rack with 1, he's won the 7th rack in between a golden break, and just like that, from being 2-0 down, and with cause for concern, Shane van Boening leads 5-2, a couple of racks away from defeating Kelly Fisher. I was saying a little earlier, he's had a slow start by his exalted standards to 2019. Runner-up in the Turning Stone Classic in New York State. Runner-up recently in the Andy Mercer Memorial Tournament to the Hungarian Vilmos Foldes. You know, it's only a matter of time, though, before he starts to add to that oh-so-lengthy list of titles.
Yeah, and the World Pool Masters would be a fine way to start.
The one thing that people pointed at Van Boening as being a negative was the fact that before last year, he'd only been on one winning Mosconi Cup team in 2009. His record, actually, in the Mosconi Cup, considering his abilities, was poor. You have to say that. But last year, it all went right at the Alexandra Palace as he was part of that winning American quintet. And you just know he's going to be part of the 2019 team. If he isn't, there'll be a steward's inquiry across all 50 states and several territories as well.
Yeah, I think his place in the US team is good for a long time.
Rack number 8, Shane van Boening to break, leading 5 racks to 2.
He's not scared of moving that cue ball around the kitchen for the break-off shot.
So it all happened very quickly, as it does when Van Boening breaks off. The blue 2 into the middle, a clear shot on the 1, and you would think away he goes again.
Yeah, fantastic cue ball control on the break there. Without doubt, the best in the world at stopping the white ball dead off the break. And as you can see, the 1 ball's over the corner. Just left himself a bit awkward cueing. Surely he's not going to go for the 9 again. Well, I see him run a rack fill.
Attention call.
He's got to try and force this to get the cue ball back out. Yeah, he's played it well. Very good shot there. Striking down on the white.
That was sweet. This is the ball he missed from short range in the opening rack. Now, though, into his stride, he looks a completely different animal.
It's a juicy shot. To get position, drawing the cue ball off 3 rails. He'll be pretty happy with that.
They call him the South Dakota Kid. He's the sporting pride of that state, and you can see why. 6 racks in succession for Shane van Boening. But we have to reiterate, Kelly Fisher hasn't made a slew of mistakes by any means. It's just that Shane van Boening, after being 2-0 down, has really upped his game to a very high quality indeed. That was the best shot of the rack for me. That forced red 3 ball to come around off a couple of cushions for ideal position. After that, it was a clearance that said, please, just knock all the balls in and let's move on. Well, the song in the arena is staying alive. In order to do that, Kelly Fisher has to win the remaining 5 racks. I suppose I should say here, stranger things have happened. Not very often, though.
Well, she's not really had an open shot at the table, has she, to be honest, from 2-0. She's had a couple of kicks and whatnot, so I think it'd just be nice to see her get, you know, one more chance in amongst the balls.
Well, I was about to say, with Staying Alive being played, that tomorrow night it might be Saturday Night Fever with Shane van Boening, but I've been scuppered because he's playing tomorrow afternoon.
Stop it, Phil. Honestly, you've got all the one-liners.
He'll be absolutely delighted with the scoreline and indeed the way he's played so far, because make no mistake, when he was 2-0 down, he was under considerable pressure. So is this going to be the final thrust?
Rack number 9, Shane van Boening to break, leading 6 racks to 2.
Moving the cue ball over to the side rail now for this break. Look at this.
I think already after that thunderous break, Kelly Fisher will be fearing the worst.
Yeah, he's got an open shot at the 1 ball. Found the gap there to get on the 2 ball. It was a good shot. He's going to have to find another gap now, though, as you see.
Extension pause.
Kelly's just sat there praying she gets another shot.
But if she doesn't, she can't be overly self-critical. She's not been the architect of her own downfall. It's all about what we've seen from Van Boening, a masterclass. It all turned in the early stages of rack 3 when he laid that telling snooker, and ever since, he has been superb.
He's definitely broke better than anyone we've seen today and tonight, Phil.
Head and shoulders above the next best breaker. He made a bad mistake missing the 4 ball, overcutting it in the opening rack. But for the vast majority of the match, Shane van Boening has lived up to his reputation as one of the very best in pool history. VB A-OK. What a performance. 7 racks in succession. Kelly Fisher didn't make mistakes. It was more about the excellence of the American. Shane van Boening 7, Kelly Fisher 2. Match 3 coming up after the break.
Shane van Boening has won this competition twice before, and he is through the preliminary round after a convincing victory over Kelly Fisher. 7-2. It was a fine performance, especially his breaking. So 2 down in this evening's session. Eklund Kachi is through after beating Earl Strickland 7-2, and the same scoreline as Shane van Boening has just beaten Kelly Fisher. Up next, we've got Petri Mäkinen against Justin Sajic.